British and Irish Lions 2025 Game 1 is done. It's in the bank. And these are my thoughts immediately following the final whistle. The whistle has just gone at the Aviva Stadium between the Lions and Argentina. And I've come straight here to share my immediate thoughts with you and to get yours in return as well. And I will be down there in the comments because I think there's a lot to say about this one. And look, I make no apology for the fact that a lot of these thoughts are going to be emotion-based, occasion-based. The time for dissecting tactics is at a later point. Let's just look at the big picture and the takeaways and what we read into this from the Lions' perspective. And there's a lot to go at. And this is just the start of a 7-week journey we're on together. So if you haven't already, I would love it if you would hit subscribe. So, spoiler alert, if you are trying to avoid it, there is the result. 24-28, a famous victory for Argentina. And you know what? On the one hand, first and foremost, I love the Lions. And I love the fact that I get to shout, "Skoo!" rather than hearing the opposing fans shouting for Pierre Schoeman. I get to support all those players who are up against England when I'm supporting my team. I love that so much. Equally, you just have to admire Argentina. They are such an easy team to love because they have the two things that are just what they have, the two things which make fans love rugby players and rugby teams. They are unbelievably tough and never ever give up. And I think that's probably the number one thing fans love. But the other thing is they are ballers. And they came to play, and fair play. Some of the scores they got ultimately deserve the victory. Yes, there's definitely some takeaways from the Lions' perspective. Yes, they will absolutely be frustrated. But do you know what? To put a positive spin on it first off, and we can talk about where it went wrong in certain areas and the things they need to improve on. But this is a 7-week journey, and it's all about the test series. That's all anyone remembers. When they talk about test series in the past, they talk about did they win the series or not. And it's all about the 19th of July. And that match against Argentina is far more valuable. And I've no doubt this is what Andy Farrell, Maro Itoje are probably saying right now as I say this myself. That's far more valuable than a 30-point drubbing of Japan, where they could feel good about themselves. But this is about getting ready for a test series. And this is a quick turnaround. This isn't the whole squad. And they've got a long way to go. But I do think there were some glimpses of what the Lions are capable of. Argentina, though, take your hat off to them. Fair play. So I'll tell you what, I'll give you some big picture thoughts immediately. Then we can dive into the game a little bit. And yeah, in the comments, take this wherever you want yourself. Bundyaki and Surini Tuipulotu centre partnership. I love the fact we were talking. Well, I was talking about, you know, what a powerful centre partnership is. In the build up to the match, you see Jamie Roberts, and it's like, oh, there's a massive centre. Maybe I take it back. Matt, that guy is absolutely huge. And despite all the incredible world-class talents there are, established international names, I love the fact that in the build-up to the game as well, Henry Pollock gets so much attention. In fact, when he came on the park, it's like Thomas Williams and who else came on at the same time? I can't remember. It was Thomas Williams and Ronan Kelleher came on at the same time as Henry Pollock. Cameras on Pollock. Fans are cheering for Pollock. Everyone's talking about Pollock. It's just a phenomenon. What else? That Aviva Stadium when the weather is good. I've been and watched in Dublin on a bright sunny day. I've worked at a couple of Leinster games when the weather was, and it is just so good. I mean, that city's amazing anyway. That city in the sunshine, that stadium in the sunshine with the glass in the roof on one end. I love it. Great setting. I thought maybe they had, was it Dermot Kennedy? Was he the singer? So I recognised his voice. Pop star. Maybe they had him turned up a little bit loud in the build-up, but, you know, I'm not going to complain too much about that. I don't want to sound like a middle-aged man. Owen Farrell, first time he's ever been a pundit. I thought he did quite well. I am biased because I do have a massive love of Owen Farrell. I think he's amazing. One of the greats, one of the great British and Irish Lions. I thought he was decent as a pundit, but do you know what the bit that I loved the most about Owen Farrell is in the second half, there was an injury and he came up on the big screen. They were going round to like Ian McGeechan, got a big cheer, Jamie Roberts, big cheer, and all the rest of it. They came to Owen Farrell, and Owen Farrell clearly clocked himself on the big screen. And I don't know if I'm imagining it, but I saw a moment of like tension come across his face. And he's spoken about this recently, about being booed at the Rugby World Cup by lots of opposing fans and some England fans as well, and how much that hurt. He's spoken about that on his return to Saracens recently. And when he got a big cheer from the crowd, and I know from having spoken to loads of Ireland fans, and I know there's more than just Ireland fans in the Aviva Stadium, but Ireland fans don't understand why Owen Farrell gets stick. They really respect the guy. And the fact he got a massive cheer and you saw that big grin on Owen Farrell's face like he was a kid, I don't know. I just felt warm for him. Will Greenwood for Sky as well. He's like a poet laureate. He's like the poet laureate of rugby. He could just say, Felipe Contepomi's a good coach, but instead he'll go like, Felipe Contepomi, he's a maestro, a maverick, a rugby savant, a professor of the arts of back play. He doesn't quite have as much of a northern voice as that, but you get the point. And Will Greenwood's hair is a bold choice for a man of his age, and I admire that choice. At the national anthem, I thought that, Argentina are going to get absolutely smoked here, because I looked at the players, and I usually have a bit of a rule. The more Argentinians are crying during the national anthem, the more likely they are to win. And there was very few tears. In fact, I don't think there was any tears. There was lots of smiling, though. So I honestly thought Argentina are going down hard here. But it did not play out that way. They did not read that script. And largely thanks to Garcia and Albanors, the 9 and 10 were absolutely amazing. And the other big decision-making position, Santi Carreras, it was like there was two of him on the pitch. He was teleporting all over the backfield, mopping stuff up. And name a more iconic duo than Argentinian back three players and ridiculous footwork. Mendy, Isco, so good. As for the British and Irish Lions and their attack, there's clearly some shape there. You could see they had the basic diamond shape, very kind of Irish. That shape's done everywhere and all levels now. The university team I coach, that's the basic shape that we do. It's what everyone does. You have the pod of three forwards, you have the man out the back, but there were layers of attack, which at this early stage I find quite encouraging. Also, there was the fact that the nines were really good at picking and different options of the forwards. It wasn't always to the guy at the front of the diamond. It was quite often across the face of him and to the next guy out. And that made it really hard to defend. And we saw in glimpses of just how dangerous that is. And with a bit of time and a bit of cohesion, and I think it can really work. They just got sucker punched by some counter-attacks. And yeah, I mean, that's the easy thing to think. And people around the world quite often say this. It's like, how can't you beat Argentina? Because there's four countries you've got players to pick from, not one. But that's the whole beauty of the British and Irish Lions. That actually makes it harder, not easier, particularly in the early stages of the tour, because you've got to put aside everything you've done as a team, as a national team before, and you've got to just throw your weight in on a new way of playing together with loads of new combinations. And Argentina, just to dovetail with that, their motivation is off the charts because they're on the outside of this Lions tour. Australia are getting it this year, and it's kind of, that will come to an end because I think this is the last year that the Sanzar deal is done. Now, New Zealand and South Africa, 100%. That's the ultimate test. Are Australia going to be as relevant 12 years from now? Long way to go before then. Maybe it'll be Argentina, but they last played them in 20 years ago, so they will have a chip on their shoulder and a point to prove, and they want in on the biggest party of them all, having a Lions tour and all the thousands of fans touring your country, which, I'd love to travel to Argentina for what it's worth, so please make that one happen. So as for the game itself, Luke Cowan-Dickey, lovely attacking move by the Lions, just knocked it on over the line, so first opportunity goes for the Lions, and then you get that Mendy try with the footwork, and Albanors, just his passing was so good. His defence was pretty handy as well. He was, actually, I didn't even see who man of the match was. I'm just assuming it was Albanors because I thought he was absolutely exceptional. And he got the ball to the edge. Mendy with the footwork, try. Then Tuipulotu gets a try disallowed. However, it doesn't really matter on that occasion because Aki scores straight afterwards. And by the way, Bundy Aki took on 3 Argentinians himself when he had an easy pass to Tommy Freeman to just walk it in unopposed. If Aki hadn't have scored, but he's Bundy Aki, he scored. Penalty to Argentina made it 11-10. And then there was a lovely 50-22 from Santi Carreras, such a classy player. And then Argentina got 3 more points. And at that point, I remember thinking when Argentina got that 3 points, Vivas knocked it on, big shot on Lions' own try line. And Ben Earl, really cheeky. You have a look at it again. Ben Earl knows exactly what he's doing. He's on the bottom of the ruck, and he just puts his foot right out and in the way of the scrum half, making the pass a little bit more awkward. And Vivas knocks it on. Argentina come away with 3 points, and I was thinking, oh, that's a relief. 3 points, not 7. But it turned out being 10 points, not 7, because they got the 3, and then they got a try on the stroke of half-time. The Lions managed to regather the ball with seconds remaining before half-time in Argentina's 22. They go down the left-hand side. Are they going to get the try to get them back in the game? No. Argentina, Juan Martín González, Santi Carreras, and then finished by Albanors himself. Incredible counter-attacks, opportunistic, brilliant skills, lovely passing, great wheels, and vamos, it's 21-10 at half-time. And I saw on some of my WhatsApp groups and online a little bit, Marcus Smith getting scapegoated. I don't know what you expect any international fullback to do when people in front of him have completely ballsed up and you're coming at you with a 3-on-1. The only thing you can have a go at Marcus Smith for is not being able to turn into 3 different Marcus Smiths to tackle one of the 3, each of the 3 options that there was not his fault. Then second half starts and it's like, right, here we go. Lions getting a rumble on. The scrum had been really good in the first half. Penalty try and a yellow card for Vivas. Then Tygburn, brilliant try. Ellis Genge with a rampaging run. The ball is quick. There's so many different options. Argentina don't know who to tackle. They waltz through. Tygburn scores 24-21. Game on. Argentina are fading. And I talked about this in the build-up. The Lions have got international stars on the bench. Argentina, in this game, do not. And that makes this win all the more remarkable. Yes, it's a new team and it's the Lions. Yes, there's lots of Lions players that weren't available. But Argentina, tons of their top players not available. Maybe 6 or 7 first-choice players not there, half a team. And that showed itself on a very inexperienced bench, which, fair play, yes, they lost the second half, but they had the guts to stick it out. And I thought they were going to fade away, but they're tough. And Santiago Cordero, his try, that was from inside their own 22. And Henry Pollock, he had a few good moments in the game. He will not want to see that moment again. Falling off the tackle of one of the smallest men on the pitch, Thomas Albanors. Fair play to Albanors, and brilliantly taken try, 28-24. Then Ronan Kelleher, some line-out malfunctions. It's always put all on the hooker. It shouldn't be, but it was compounded by knock-on errors, by dumb penalties. In fact, there was one moment where Montoya, the captain for Argentina, gave away a silly penalty, and then Tygburn gave away a penalty for a neck roll straight afterwards. And with that, the opportunity goes. Lions are knocking on the door, but it was kind of inevitable. With guys like Juan Martín González on the pitch, the opportunities were going to run out in the end. As for individuals, and like I say, I'll come back and maybe do some player ratings and a bit more dissection of the tactics and stuff in a later video. But for now, I think my overwhelming thoughts, and tell me if you agree or disagree, Tom Curry I thought was absolutely outstanding. Ellis Genge I thought was really, really good. For the Lions, they were the 2 standouts. Tommy Freeman, for the most part, I thought was good. Sione Tuipulotu was busy. And there was a lot, I like the way how close he takes it to the line. So those are a few that I thought were particularly good for the Lions. For Argentina, Albanors and Juan Martín González, Santi Carreras, Garcia. Fair play. Fair play. They were brilliant. Like I say, it's not the perfect first. It's not the perfect step from a Lions perspective. For Argentina, it's obviously amazing, but there's a long way to go yet, and it's all about the 19th of July. We will see. There's going to be so many more videos coming on the channel. Get yourself subscribed if you haven't already. Leave your comment down below. Get yourself to eggchasers.com and sign up to the new mailing list, which I've just started. Some really exciting things coming on that. So that's eggchasers.com for that. And I'll see you on the next one.